Okay. Ready? Okay, we will call our meeting to order. We welcome everybody here this evening. At first, we will now turn the meeting over to our city clerk, Melissa, for roll call.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Here.
Commissioner Swindell.
Here.
Commissioner York.
Here.
Commissioner Maples.
Here.
Mayor Van Oster.
Here. At this time, we will now welcome Mr. Michael Talbot from the First Assembly of God Church, and he will give our invocation this evening.
I was looking for a scripture that would be great for our meeting tonight, and I found Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 1 through 6. Now it will be, if you will diligently obey the voice of the Lord your God, being careful to do all his commandments, which I am commanding you today, then the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations of the earth. And all these blessings will come on you and overtake you, if you listen to the voice of the Lord your God. You'll be blessed in the city, blessed in the field. Your offspring will be blessed, and the produce of your ground and the offspring of your livestock, the increase of your herd and the flocks of your sheep. Your basking and kneading bowl will be blessed. You'll be blessed when you come in and blessed when you go out. Our precious Heavenly Father, this is what we ask for tonight. We ask for blessing, not for just all the residents of Coffeyville, but Lord, for each and every person, Lord, that Lord is in a position of leadership. I pray that there'll be a sensitivity to, Lord, to you. Their hearts will be surrendered to you. Lord, that you'll just have your way in each and every life. Lord, we pray, Lord, that our feeding troughs will, Lord, be flowing over, because we can't fully comprehend all the blessings that you have in store for us. So, Lord, give us wisdom, understanding, and guidance. Lord, touch our hearts to be sensitive to you and to glorify your name. And we ask these things in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is we'll have a review of the agenda, and if there's need to be any changes or additions. Commissioners? None? Okay, then we will now move on to our consent agenda. That consists of, number one, our city commission meeting minutes from Tuesday, February 8th, 2022, and number two, our 2022 appropriation ordinance number AO-22-04 in the amount of $5,264,553.20. Does anybody have any items? Commissioner York, you have any on the appropriation
Mayor, I'll,
ordinance?
just cover some of the highlights. It's a pretty good size appropriation this time. So we have Algier Martin and Associates for overlook culvert inspection and intersection design, $10,539. Our tree service, Ashland's, for $14,611. Atmos Energy for $15,514. Bartlett Co-op for diesel fuel, $6,624. Bill Knight Ford, and this was for the pickup that we purchased at the last meeting, $39,185. City of Coffeyville for different electricals, $21,817. Let's see, Community State Bank for fire inspection proceeds. This was from the Chicks fire, $6,649. CoPro EFP for bunker gear times 3 was $88.60. Fleet Fuels, oh boy, you can sure tell fuel costs are up, $14,823. Grand River Dam Authority, $3,507,776. Hall, Levy, DeVore, and Bell, $4,804. Hawkins, which is chemicals, $20,233. High Potential Power Services, $10,301. Jeff Graham Construction on the Highland Road project, $15,507. Can-S Oil, this was for the purchase of the lot at 8th and Lewis that we voted on last meeting, I believe, $4,953. Kansas Lumber, this is for materials for the first floor renovation project, $8,104. The Library Treasury for first tax distribution, $183,876. The Montgomery County Treasurer, this is different renewals for tags, $3,850. Nelson Systems Incorporated, $4,068. Our trash service was $37,562. Postage, refill the postage account was $5,000. Southwest Power Pool, $662,692. And Southwestern Power Administration, $12,651.08, which when you add all those together with GRDA, that's $4,183,000 out of that $5 million and something that we spent. So, let's see. UMB Bank, and this is for different purchases through the bank card, $20,144. Yifty, which was for Christmas gift cards for employees, $4,630, and our payroll was $381,545.
Okay,
Just some of the highlights.
yes. Okay. Does anybody else have anything over the appropriation ordinance or the minutes? Okay, if not, I will move to approve items 1 and 2 of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner York to approve items 1 and 2 of the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner Swindell,
Aye.
Commissioner York,
Aye.
Commissioner Maples. Aye. Mayor Van Oster,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Item number 3 is 2022 appropriation ordinance number AO-22-04A for Isham's True Value Hardware in the amount of $48.32.
Mayor, if there's no further questions, I'll move to approve item number 3 of the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner York, seconded by Commissioner Swindell to approve item 3 of the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner York,
Aye.
Commissioner Maples. Aye. Mayor Van Oster,
Abstain.
Vice Mayor Doan,
Aye.
Commissioner Swindell.
Aye.
Okay, the next item on our agenda are comments from the public. Any citizen desiring to address the commission shall be recognized, advance to the podium, state his or her name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by a vote of the majority of the commission. The commission does not hear matters involving litigation or city personnel. The commission does not take action on subjects not on the agenda unless unusual or hardship conditions exist. Citizens may address the commission on agenda items as they are brought to the floor. Do we have anybody here this evening? Okay. Our next item is regular agenda items. Under H, this evening, we do not have any public hearings, special presentations, or proclamations. We have no old business, so we will move on to new business, which being the first item is Resolution R-22-08, which is a resolution to execute a contract with NeoGov for purchase of a software as a service solutions for job postings, applicant tracking, hiring, and onboarding. Our Director of Human Resources, Allison Pryor, will make comments.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. In early 2020, the HRE Partners digital platform that had been used by the City of Coffeyville to post job openings and accept applications for several years permanently sunsetted. The City of Coffeyville then moved to the platform that they had recommended called Kansas GovJobs. Whereas in years past, the city of Coffeyville has had ample applicants for every available position, the city's hiring efforts, like most other businesses, have been hard hit by the pandemic and what media is calling the Great Resignation, resulting in limited applicants for open positions. Some open positions have had no applicants despite offering competitive wages. The city cannot afford to continue to miss out on qualified prospective employees. Uninterrupted services to our citizens hinge on timely hiring of qualified applicants. While being a very economical solution, the city has experienced significant difficulties with the Kansas GovJobs platform working effectively. In addition, limited tech support has been made available, and an increasing number of prospective applicants reporting issues using the platform. Staff began researching some alternatives. I met with Stephanie Richardson, Director of Finance, and also Chris Felix, Director of Internet Services, and reviewed proposals for 3 separate digital platforms. NeoGov, the software solution that we chose and that we're proposing that we would adopt, appears to integrate well with other established digital solutions currently in use by city staff. Additionally, NeoGov offers the option of incorporating various modules a la carte. Therefore, as our needs change, we have the option of adding or dropping segments of their platform in order to best fit our needs. This request would be to purchase NeoGov software as a service modules that are called Insight and Onboard. Subscribing to NeoGov would allow us to track requisitions for adding or replacing personnel, create a digital repository for job descriptions, streamline posting of open city positions to the City of Coffeyville website via a NeoGov link, post those same open positions to governmentjobs.com for additional exposure of our open positions. Once an applicant begins their application, users can view partially completed applications as well as those that have been completed and submitted. I'm going to park here for a second because this has been the sticking point that we found with the current platform that we use, is that I have received emails that this system has sent out indicating that I have received their application, only it's not available to me on the platform that we're using. So somewhere there's some hiccups in their process that is sending emails to prospective applicants indicating that I have received their application, but it's nowhere visible to me, and I don't have any access to that behind the scenes analytics to see somebody who has perhaps started an application but not completed. That's one of the key features that NeoGov offers to us that I think will help us in tracking those applications and then pulling them if they have not completed their application, that I have the option to reach out to them and say, hey, I see that you've started your application, but we would be interested in you completing that so that we can accurately track all of the people who are attempting to apply for our open positions. The platform then maintains a timestamp record of all the activities within the platform in a format that's consistent with fair hiring practices. Once an applicant has been selected for hire, the platform manages the required new hire documents and segues from Insight, where you can track your applicants, to Onboard as we hire a new employee. NeoGov has offered the City of Coffeyville a discounted bundle for the first 3 years of service. For year 1, our total commitment is $4,500 to provide setup and training. Year 2 pricing is $11,058. Year 3 is $11,664. And if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to try to answer those.
So I had a few, Allison,
Okay.
and of course, I guess one of my first questions would be, so obviously we gain other functions with this software than what
We
we
do.
currently have. So is the purpose behind this to gain those functions or to try and create more applications?
It's twofold. So the initial would be for us to get additional applications or some of those that we're obviously missing with the platform that we're currently using.
Okay.
In addition, NeoGov offers the opportunity for me to cross-post all of our open positions to a link that's specifically set up straight to our website. So right now we're able to do that, but it's a bit of a process where I have to set up the job and then I email all of the information to Melissa, and Melissa goes in to update the website so that we have that posting. This would allow us to post to all of the city social media accounts. It would post to Indeed. Let me get my list.
Sure.
Indeed, ZipRecruiter, DiversityJobs.com, GovernmentJobs.com, Recruitix, and then would also have the ability that if others had taken a look at different types of positions, that they would have the opportunity to complete on our website what they call a job interest card. And that would be if they're not selected for this particular position or for an interview, that they would have the opportunity with that job interest card, any other jobs that we have come up that are similar, it would automatically send something back out to those same folks that have applied with us before to see if they're interested in applying for new positions that come up. And I think in that way, that would allow us to continue getting the word out that we have those open positions available.
So do we know of other cities that are using this service, and have we gotten references
We
from
do,
them?
yes. So some of the larger cities in Kansas that use NeoGov are Olathe, Shawnee, Garden City, Newton, Ark City, and Wichita.
And do they have data as far as number of hits, actual success versus number of hits?
I don't have any hard data as far as how many hits it is that they've had, but do have word from them that they've been pleased with what it
Okay.
is that NeoGov has had to offer.
The only other concern I had on this was the contract for this is for a 3-year agreement. It's basically non-cancelable.
Right.
There are some very limited exceptions to that. So for, we're going to spend $27,222 over 3 years for this. What do we do if it doesn't generate any more applicants than what we're currently receiving?
So I visited with Paul Kreitz about exactly that issue, and because of course he reviewed the contract beforehand, made some changes that would make it something that he felt like was more tenable and in the city's best interest. And we went back and forth a little bit over some of the terms of the contract. And in visiting with Paul, his statement was, really, there's no platform that can guarantee us how many applicants it is that we're going to get.
That's correct.
So it's a matter basically of hedging our bet on a product that has the availability and the widespread net, that the wider we can cast that net to try to get qualified applicants in, the more likely it is that we're able to see success with that. I would also add that because of those background analytics that are available to us on NeoGov, that with me being able to see that someone started an application but maybe didn't finish it or didn't hit submit, I think my hunch is that's what's happening some on the platform we have now. But because there's no background analytics, I can't see any of that. I only happen to know a couple of people who said, hey, Allison, I applied for a job and I never heard anything, and I go back and look and it's nowhere. I've looked every possible place you can look and it's simply not there. So I'm not sure what that glitch is, but again, with limited tech support from the product that we have now versus the robust tech support that's available to us, that's the $4,500 that we're looking at paying right now, is for that setup and install of this system. I just have to believe, and I think it was the opinion of Chris and Stephanie as well, that this was the best product that we could find that would meet our needs and, quite frankly, save some of that duplication of time and effort in having to go into this platform to post a job and then leave that and go into another platform. There's an amazing amount of time that is spent just in that effort of posting the position to every single platform and monitoring how it is that each of them return results to you.
Well, bottom line, it's a 3-year deal. So at the end of 3 years, if it doesn't generate
Sure.
what we need it to generate, then you look for something else.
Exactly.
I know, I can't think of an employer out there right now that's not struggling to find employees.
Right.
So hopefully it's another avenue that may generate something for us. So
I have high hopes that it will be. I'm excited and hope that this is something that we can move forward on.
okay.
I might add that if we look at the pool that's out there, the city has entry-level jobs, and then we have management jobs, and then we go up to directors. It is one of those that likelihood, which interest is down at the bottom tier, will be somebody that is more local, just because of relocation and the level of pay. It is one of those, of course, as you go up, then that net needs to be cast further, is because of the salary that would be paid. It would be attractive to relocate to. And of course, at top-level jobs, that is where we want to reach out the broadest. The one thing that I've noticed in the discussion is, and just throwing this in, is our police department. It is one of those that we have a great police department. Things have struggled simply because of candidates, and I know all, cities suffer from this. This is something that they've looked at, is to try something different, to cast that net further out and be able to do that. We are going through some changes in our police department that are positive, and we feel that because of that, that police officers do relocate. Some it's a revolving door, but if we cast that bigger net, that's where we see a big benefit, because, our top level are usually long-term with us and that stuff, but our police officers, everybody's looking out there for the deal that they want to go to. And we feel with this, it'll give us better tracking and to follow up, but it does give us a bigger net to try, and that's one of the benefits of this.
So if you ever look at the service awards every year that we give out for our employees, we have some very long-term
Yes.
employees, right? And so, and I think that speaks well for the city as far as being a good employer, so.
But it's something that Quinn has discussed with, Stephanie and Chris and Allison, that, the police department, is just the bigger the net. And it is one of those, a lot of officers are leaving law enforcement.
Yep.
So we're looking out there for somebody that is interested in law enforcement for a career. And the further that we can go with that, the likelihood they would relocate to Coffeyville. But our primary is going to come within, of course, a residency requirement, of 25 miles. But it is one of those, is at an entry-level job. Yes, somebody's not going to relocate and come to Coffeyville from Kansas City. But police officers, they would. And so we hope with this, it'll give us another tool to see if this will work, plus some other things that Allison and, of course, Stephanie and Chris are working on also, to try some different tactics.
Thank you.
And I imagine it's frustrating, because I'm sure you haven't heard from everybody that that said, hey, I never heard from you. Lots of people don't
Exactly.
carry on. So if this is a way that we can grasp those, like you said, keep better track, I think obviously we need to do something. And once this gets up and going, I'm going to ask if you would just come back and see us when you
Sure.
notice a significant
Sure.
deal to tell us, how it is going, because I would be curious. Because this other communities that you talked to, had they been on NeoGov very long?
Yes,
Okay.
have used it for multiple years.
Okay. Do you know of anybody that used our same platform, the Kansas Gov
Kansas
Jobs,
Gov Jobs.
and they're having the same issues?
Yes.
Have they made a switch yet?
The few that I've talked to, not that I'm aware of, have not made a switch, but were like us looking for other opportunities and to see. Kansas Gov Jobs makes it attractive because it's a very low-cost solution. It's
Yes.
essentially $100 a month, but at the same time, sometimes you get what it is that you pay for.
That's correct.
And we're
That's correct.
seeing what it is that we've paid for, and now
Okay.
it's time to
Yeah.
pursue a different avenue.
And it is a big leap to take. That's probably why some of the other communities
Absolutely.
haven't done so yet. But at the same time, we need to grasp those people, as many as we can, and find out. So
I think it'll be interesting to see the feedback matrix on all that, so, yeah.
I
do
think so too. And the other thing that I just barely touched on is with NeoGov's ability to timestamp everything. If I send an email from within the NeoGov system, it automatically records in that person's applicant tracking record that I've
good.
done that. In the format that we use now with Kansas GovJobs, if I go to my email and send an email to this applicant, then I have to go back into Kansas GovJobs and make a note that I've sent an email to this applicant on this day. If I call and leave them a message and they have to return a call, whereas it's a click of a button in NeoGov to indicate that I sent an email or made a phone call and they called me back, in Kansas GovJobs, I have to go into each applicant and make a note. I called and left a message for this person regarding this, and then when they call me back, then I have to go back in. So there's a lot of that duplication of effort that NeoGov offers us with a one-click option to toggle on and off where it is that we're at in that process, that legally we have to be able to prove, and we have to keep this record. So I hope that we'll see that it frees up some of my time to do some of the other things that also need done.
need to be done. Yes. So so that's why when you start seeing,
Yes.
what I'm going to hope for you is a better result of this. Come back and tell us.
I will.
Okay, is there any other further discussion?
Excuse me? Yeah.
Okay.
So I can tell you've done a lot of work. And I know that you've looked at other companies, kind of researching what you want to do. Typically, when we have a presentation like that, we have listed out the other companies as
Okay.
well. And there's always seems, it never fails, somebody is tied to the system at some point, and they're complaining if it's not listed or whatever. So, of the other companies, why did you choose to go with this one?
So some of the functionality that we were wanting to see that we felt like was very specific to our needs just wasn't available with some of the other systems. So the others that we looked at the HR module for Encode. So Encode is the software that we use to govern payroll and accounts payable.
Correct.
It did not have all of the functionality that we were looking for, and there were several things that it was still going to be a very manual system where I had to go back and continue to update. We looked at Civic Plus, Civic HR, is that what it's called, Stephanie, that goes with Civic Plus? So Civic Plus is the folks that power our website. We looked at the system that they have that would be an applicant tracking system. Again, it didn't have the functionality that we were looking for and was far more expensive. And then we looked at another system called Paylocity. Paylocity offered almost exactly the same options as far as systems, but their breakout of each module and how it is that they bundle their services was a little bit different. And again, it was going to be a more expensive solution for the city to go to Paylocity. In addition, part of their platform is they also administer payroll. And so their idea would be that we somewhat I abandon Encode for payroll, which is what we've historically used, and move all of our payroll process to Paylocity. And so we made the decision that we were not interested in doing that, and for that reason, that NeoGov was the solution that we were looking at going with.
Perfect. That gives me a basis to give an answer.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Anything else for Allison? Okay. If not, I will move that we approve Resolution R-22-08 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Maples to approve Resolution R-22-08 as presented. Commissioner Maples.
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Dome.
Aye.
Commissioner Swindell.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Thank you, Allison,
Allison.
for all your hard work,
And
you and Stephanie and Chris, too.
Thank you.
Okay, we will now move on to Resolution R-22-09, which is a resolution to enter into an agreement with Exponential Engineering Company for electrical engineering services for the electric utility. Our Director of Electric Utility, Mr. Mike Shook, will make comments.
Good evening, Mayor Commissioners. The electric utility has been approached by a neighboring investor-owned utility requesting potential interconnections at a 69,000 volt level to help bolster voltage levels to their system here in southeast Kansas, while aiding in increasing reliability to both systems with these additional interconnects. Adding additional interconnections to our system would require in-depth studies to evaluate any potential negative impacts to our system, including identifying possible upgrades needed to support such an endeavor, while also determining the financial benefits to each utility, to define the appropriate cost allocations and development of any associated revenue streams that could potentially result from adding additional interconnections. Working with our legal counsel in Washington, D.C., Exponential Engineering, based in Fort Collins, Colorado, was recommended as a firm of having extensive experience working with municipal utilities on transmission level interconnections and studies and planning. Reviewing the qualifications and speaking with Tom Godosi, the president of Exponential Engineering, and including their experience in working in the SPP footprint on similar studies and interconnections, they are definitely qualified to represent and support the city in this effort. Therefore, staff recommends the mayor be authorized to enter into an engineering services agreement with Exponential Engineering Company for analysis of potential 69,000 volt level interconnections in the amount not to exceed $15,640, and I'd be happy to try to answer any questions that you may have.
Are there any concerns from GRDA with this agreement?
We've not reached out to them lately. This was brought up about 3 years ago. We just briefly discussed it with them. We're at the very, very early stages,
Yes. Yeah.
so it's not thoroughly been flushed out yet.
Do we need to include them once we get to that point,
Absolutely,
right? Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
This is just the basis to start out,
Right.
to see what, if any,
Yes,
can
it's-
be, okay.
The larger investor-owned utility, they've done some internal studies, engineering studies, and naturally, our opinion is it benefits them more than it does us. And our system is so robust here in southeast Kansas, they want to connect to us to help boost their system. So there should be some financial benefit if this comes to fruition to the city of Coffeyville. So it's worth we feel that it's worth the $15,000 to at least
To
study
look
it.
into it. Okay.
You want to know the downsides to it too,
Absolutely.
right? So, yeah.
That's right,
Yeah.
before we even start, okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
Mayor, if there are no other questions, I'll move to approve Resolution R2209 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner York, seconded by Mayor Van Oster to approve Resolution R-22-09 as presented. Mayor Van Oster.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Commissioner Swindell.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Commissioner Maples.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mike, very
Commissioners.
much.
Hey, one more question. I'm messing.
Commissioner Doan, yes, sir.
I'm done.
Okay, the next item is Resolution R-22-10, which is a resolution to authorize purchase of carpet tile, excuse me, for remodel of the ground floor at City Hall. Our Director of Engineering Services, Mr. Thomas Osborne, will make comments.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So this, what I have before you is for the downstairs remodel that we're putting in for the offices. I believe there's 7 offices for the city and 2 for the juvenile courts. Well, we reached out to Georgia Carpets Direct, went straight to the mill to try to see the best cost savings that we could get. So this is a straight from the mill cost to keep the costs down. It'll be installed by the guys working down there as well. So be happy to try to answer any questions. The total amount was $4,713.37. And that's for 2,688 square feet of carpet, commercial grade.
So not really a question, but I did get the opportunity to tour that here this last week with Mark, and You guys have done a wonderful job down there, and the cost savings are pretty tremendous when you look at what we were originally looking at. So, yeah, it will be a very nice space for folks. Yes. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I do anyway. So, yeah.
Okay. Any questions?
No.
Okay. If not, I will move to approve Resolution R-22-10 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Vice Mayor Down to approve Resolution R-22-10 as presented. Vice Mayor Down.
Aye.
Commissioner Swindell.
Aye.
Commissioner York.
Aye.
Commissioner Maples.
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster.
Aye. Thank you, Thomas, very
Thank you,
much.
Thanks for all your work on that as well, Thomas. You guys have done a great job. So.
I'll go ahead and say it now. If you guys want to come down afterwards, I'll go unlock the door and take you through and show you where everything is, so.
It's worth the
In
quarter
fact-
tour, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah.
I would say if you got a few minutes, every day walls go up, more sheetrock goes up, and it's really taken shape. You can really see how it's gonna function. And they utilized all the space, and we will have, and he'll explain that, we've come up with, one of the rooms will be used for our training room for the USDA program. So he'll kind of, if you've got just a few minutes, we'll give you an idea what that looks like.
Especially if you
Thank
can
you.
remember what that floor used to look like back when PD was down there, right? And
I've
it's
heard some
quite a change.
stories.
Yeah.
I've heard some
Yeah.
stories.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is Resolution R-22-11, which is a resolution to authorize purchase of 3 2022 Dodge 1-ton service trucks for the wastewater utility. Our Director of Public Works, Mr. Jim Bradshaw, will make comments.
Mayor, Commissioners, the Public Works Department has sought to match state Kansas vehicle contract pricing from dealers in the region. Staff submitted spec sheets to 4 area dealerships going back to March of 2021, also in July of 2021, and again in late 2021, and again early in 2022, requesting quotes for up to 3 new 1-ton service trucks complete with service bodies. To date, we've been able to receive a total of 1 quote, which was received from Quality Motors of Independence, Romans Motors of Independence, Kansas, Shield Motors of Chanute, Patriot Motors of Bartlesville were unable to secure pricing, nor could they secure an order. Staff reviewed the quote from Quality Motors and found that it met the specs that were submitted. Also included in my staff report is the vehicles that will be replaced and how they will be further utilized. Vehicle replacement unit number 1068, which is a 2008 Ford 1-ton service truck with an excess of 220,000 miles, will be transferred to the wastewater treatment plant and utilized for a maintenance vehicle inside the plant. Unit number 1074, which is also a 2008 Ford 1-ton service truck, with an excess of 171,000 miles, will transfer to the Public Service Department to replace unit number 813, which the odometer no longer has worked for several years, so, and it has excess of over 200,000 showing on it, and be utilized as a mechanic's truck. Unit number 1353, which is a 2010 Chevy 1-ton service truck, with excess of 120,000 miles, will also be transferred to the Public Service Department and utilized as a mechanic truck, which will replace unit number 900, which also has an excess of 200,000 miles on it at the time. Once the mechanic trucks are replaced, items will be stripped off their existing trucks, which will be their fuel cells they carry, their welders, and all their excessive equipment will be transferred to the new trucks, and then the unit number 900 and 813 will be sold as surplus. Staff is recommending that the mayor be authorized to direct the finance director to issue a purchase order in the amount of $218,076 for the purchase of 3 2022 one-ton Dodge service trucks complete with service bodies from Quality Motors of Independence for the water and wastewater utilities. Attached to my staff report was a request for quotes, documentations, and the quote received from Quality Motor, and it also included the bed specs also as far as their quote. So be glad to try to answer any questions you might have.
So funds from this come out of the capital outlay fund?
Yes, Fund 910 is where we budgeted for these items from.
And as you're aware, these are enterprise funds and these are not property tax.
That's right.
So
Yep.
that is, and, you know, to the public, it is for the operation of those enterprise funds. The benefit is to the general fund, which of course is public service will benefit from that being traded over.
With the two trucks, it gets
Exactly.
transferred, and the two trucks they're currently using also came from water and wastewater utilities back whenever they were replaced in 2008, so.
That's a smart way to do it. It
Just pass them
certainly
down and
saves
get
the
further
general
use
fund
out
some
of it.
money, yeah. Is there any lead time on these?
Up to
proposals?
24 weeks,
Okay.
up to
Yeah.
24 weeks.
Yeah,
up to 6
yeah.
months.
The turnaround time is.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But they were able to lock in, and they are able to place what they're calling a fleet order for the cabin chassis up
Okay.
till March 10th. For now, that could be cut off sooner.
Yeah.
We ran into that last year. The day before we were to bring 2 of them to the commission, they cut the orders off,
Yep.
so they were not able to secure the orders, so we withdrew it from the agenda that night. So far, they're still able to place an order, so
Okay.
Okay,
that's why
Very
we're
good.
seeking approval.
yes. Thank you. I know you've been working on this for a while to get this done. Any other questions from anybody? Okay, if not, I'll move to approve Resolution R-22-11 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion's made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Swindell to approve Resolution R-22-11 as presented. Commissioner Swindell,
Aye.
Commissioner York,
Aye.
Commissioner Maples,
Aye.
Mayor Van Oster,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Doan.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jim, very much. Okay, we will now move on to our city manager's report.
Mayor and Commissioners, it seems like for the past couple of weeks, Thursday's is a bad day for weather. So it is one of those that, of course, public service and the others, first responders, are getting ready for a possible weather event. I do want to say that I'm very proud of the city and staff. We never jeopardize safety, but one way or the other, we've tried to remain open as much as possible to the public. And it is one of those, I think it's commendable on their part, the dedication that, be it for 4 hours, that's 4 hours the public can still do business with the city instead of being closed. So we'll watch the weather and, of course, keep you updated. But as usual, they'll be ready to act. Other than that, the departments are moving forward. This is kind of always a regrouping type of the year. Things slow down. Of course, COVID adds to that. But we are doing some heavy planning in all departments, and it is when weather permits, we'll start doing some pre-emergent and these kind of things, getting ready for spring, so that way when it comes time, we're ahead of the game instead of playing catch up. A lot of things happening, and like I say, I sent to you, I want to commend our newly formed housing department. They had a week-long training with USDA. It started, and each day, it is one of those, it's very intensive, but it is a key component to us moving forward. And what they learned to explain is basically on the application process and sorting through the applicants, which then goes on to USDA for final approval in any program. So what they learned is something that we can apply to different programs of the USDA besides the mutual self-help program. So we're going to be exploring avenues of other things that USDA offers in regard to housing through this. And one is a loan guarantee program. There is direct loans. And so that's what they spent all week. They took a final test. I believe there was 67 total across the country that were involved in this training, and both of them passed. And of course, one was Amber was a speed demon and was ranked up in the top of getting the test done and passing it. So they are working on that. We are going into a final phase of getting the program started, and that is one, now they'll customize it to the specific program. There's a lot involved, and that is in the purchasing and whatnot. The application process, it is within our 90-day window. They would like to get us started, and they'll go through that. Then you'll see with Melissa getting it out there, we'll start an application process. And when that goes, everything starts moving, and we do have a supervisor position that will be filled as we go down the road. But then we'll obtain 5 families that are approved by USDA, and the initial work will be done, and then they'll go in and finish their homes. So we do have a bunch more pieces, but I commend, Thomas, of course, that's under Thomas, but, Charlie and Amber went through that with flying colors and don't have to retake it. So that's always good news. But the other departments, of course, I know you compliment them all the time, and of their hard work. Public service, they're on top of things, and like I say, it's bitterly cold out there. But we have the other departments, electric, all of these are exposed to the elements. Of course, we want them safe, but they're out there doing their jobs, rain or shine, and I don't want to call them post office people, but it is one of those. That's kind of the slogan with employees, come rain or shine, they're out there doing their job. So I want to commend them and thank them. I know you do all the time, and they do appreciate it, but we're gearing up and keeping moving forward. So it should be a busier year. I think the COVID we're crossing our fingers that it's settled down, and that will open up more doors for us to get some things done. Just to update you, we are having discussions about this new base grant that is made available to Kansas cities. It is one of those, it's a competitive process, but we've reached out to one of the largest employers in Coffeyville, and staff has been working with them as possibly an application process. And so we'll make you more aware of that as we go along, but it is one of those. I commend staff in discussions with this large employer. It was one of those, they appreciated the thoughtfulness of staff to look beyond and see that there's a possible benefit to them, and that comes from the CEO. It is not here, but because of their hard work, and that involves, electric and finance and engineering and this, meeting with them, and of course, Public Works is meeting with them and to get this ball rolling. It is due the 28th of February. So we have till next Monday to put this together. But I guess I want to say so proud that the large employer recognized, and it was stated that we will do this and we will help the city. And of course, staff, they were impressed. It was just something that they looked at and said we could apply it. So we're excited about that, and we'll see how it goes. But other than that, everybody's just working hard, and so proud, and I know you are. So if there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer those.
Nope, I don't have any. Thank you, Mark, very
Thank you.
much. Okay, we will now move on from comments from commissioners and staff. Do you in particular want to go? You have anything in particular? No, you don't? No, no.
I just had a couple, Anne Marie, if you, but go ahead.
Okay, well, I just, when you brought up about mentioning about what all happens behind the scenes that you don't know about, I mean, just like last week again, with the snow, the ice or whatever, and I know we had a couple of incidents with the electrical department. And it always happens either on a Friday afternoon or a weekend, and in the wee hours of the night, but they took care of everything and got people back up and going. It was kind of comical. A Mylar balloon had
Well,
gotten
and I think we'll just pass a
Chuck E. Cheese.
resolution.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Not allow those anymore in the city. You
And
can
it
go
took-
to some other city and let them go.
Yes. But anyway, and that caused problems, at 4 a.m. Sunday morning, and took them down. And that's pretty, for anybody to be down is bad, but CRNF, that was, that was not a good thing.
It's inexpensive. huh?
It is,
Yes,
it is.
yeah.
But,
I think you saw the email. They were very, very pleased. In fact, I forgot the nickname they're going to call this from now on. The what event was that, Mike? Did there? Chuck E. Cheese, but it was
Yes.
very nice, and I forwarded that on to you that they appreciated how they reacted in getting things back on.
yes.
Absolutely.
But that's just all departments pitching in and doing things like that, because lots of times we don't hear about and we don't know. And so it is good that we've got that. And then, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask Mr. Jim Bradshaw to come up, because yesterday was a good day. Not only weather-wise, but he got a street opened yesterday that we've been long awaiting for. So I'll let him come up and report on that. 'Cause he's been
Mayor,
working hard
Commissioners.
on that.
Yes, we did do a substantial completion on Highland Road yesterday, Monday, the 21st. We were able to get traffic flowing back through that road, also through Fairway. There is still a few cones put up along the Fairway and Highland. There is a little bit of cleanup to be done down towards the south end there, towards where they finished working yesterday. I look for the subcontractor, the dirt contractor, to move back in next week to get that pretty much knocked out and get some mulch down and some seed. Then we'll schedule. There's still one driveway that we did a counter offer on that we've been discussing a little bit for the last few months, but we did a counter on that one, so I think that one will move forward, but it will not be done within the time frame. So that one will probably be pulled away from this project, so we can go ahead and get this one closed out. Contractor is right at 200 days of his contract. He still has 10 days remaining to get everything finalized out, weather permitting, and we'll work with the contractor on that. But the street is open. There will be some sidewalk crossings that'll still need to be put in, weather permitting, but the street is open for traffic now.
With that-
Mailboxes relocated this afternoon as well.
Yes, mailboxes was reset, yes. So,
And with the cones, the majority of the cones and the blockades down, it's much easier to see the concept of all that.
It
And
is.
how the sidewalks tie in for the safe routes to school, because that was part of that too. So on that, from there at the intersection of Norwood and Highland. And if you go straight north to the creek, Sycamore Creek, will there be a sidewalk there eventually
I
that
think
ties
that's-
all that into?
I think that's
there?
the phase that's under design right now, isn't it, Thomas? Part of that? Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
I think that little stretch is part of the phase that's in design right now.
okay. Because that would tie it up all very
Yeah.
nicely there. Because I imagine once it gets to where people can get out again, you will see many people walking there.
It does
'cause
slow the
did
traffic
before.
down at the intersection a little bit.
Yes,
Which is a
and
good thing,
That needed to
Uh,
happen.
where they're coming around that curve to be able to get back on the fairway to the west or get back on the Highland going back to the north. So it does slow them down, which is a good thing.
That's correct.
So,
That's correct.
there was a question, I think, that Melissa got on the Facebook about the addresses. None of the addresses are changing.
No.
The streets moved a little bit, but the houses did not, and the names of the streets didn't. We did check with them on the 100 blocks to make sure we got everything right on the street signage, but nobody's physical address will change with this project, so.
Okay.
Okay,
And the sidewalk going to the south, is that a continuation project down the road as
not
well,
at this
or-
time.
Not
It's
at
where
this-
that's where we ended this project at, is right just to the south of, as it turned into Highland. So that's where we terminated this one at.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Anybody have anything else?
I just, so tying with what Mark said, I wanted to thank our public service guys for their work on the roads with the rough weather, and of course, we're gonna have another bout of it, it sounds like, but hopefully this one not quite so severe. Do want to congratulate Charla and Amber on passing their test. The fire guys were out the other day fighting a big house fire, and I know we had some minor injuries in that. I just wanted to check, make sure everybody's doing okay.
Everybody, in fact, we have all the reports filed and we're moving forward. But yes, it was big, and it was, the home was in the construction, kind of hampered things that we were doing.
Right. And then wanted to thank Stephanie for this property tax report. This was very well done. Thank you. It's a very informational report.
Anything else? If not, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner York to adjourn. Can I see a show of hands? Thank you.